These are the 4 choices for portable music right now. So let's take a look at each one of those. A CD player costs about $75, holds 10 to 15 songs on a CD. That's about $5 a song. You can go buy a flash player, pay about double that, about $150, holds the same 10 to 15 songs, or about $10 a song. You can go buy an MP3 CD player, and an MP3 CD, which you can burn on your computer, costs about $150, but holds 150 songs. So you get down to $1 a song. Or you can go buy a hard drive jukebox player for about $300. It holds about 1,000 songs and costs about 30 cents a song. So we looked at this and studied all these, and that's where we want to be. That is where we want to be. And we are introducing a product today that takes us exactly there, and that product is called iPod. iMac, iBook, iPod. What is iPod? iPod is an MP3 music player, has CD quality music, and it plays all of the popular open formats of digital music, MP3, MP3 variable bitrate, WAV, and AIFF. But the biggest thing about iPod is it holds 1,000 songs. Now, this is a quantum leap because it's for most people, it's their entire music library. This is huge. How many times have you gone on the road with a CD player and said, oh God, the CD, I didn't bring the CD I wanted to listen to? To have your whole music library with you at all times is a quantum leap in listening to music. But the coolest thing about iPod is that your entire music library fits in your pocket. Okay? You can take your whole music library with you right in your pocket. So this is what's so remarkable about iPod. It is ultra portable. We didn't stop there. iPod has got Apple design. We've got one of the best design teams in the world, and they have done a remarkable job. And let me show you. This is what iPod looks from the side. Again, about 3/4 of an inch thick. I'm going to show you the back first because I'm in love with it. It's stainless steel. It's really, really durable. It's beautiful. And this is what the front of it looks like. Boom. That's iPod. I happen to have one right here in my pocket, matter of fact. There it is, right there. So, this amazing little device holds 1,000 songs. And it goes right in my pocket.
The high-end flash players, if you pay $200, they hold about 60 songs. If you pay close to $100, they hold 30 songs, and people either do one of two things. They either get a new memory card for it, right, and spend usually over $200 total to bring it up to 60 songs, or they put it in the drawer and don't use it. So this is what these things generally look like, right? Something like this, and again, what they are is they have 256 megabytes of memory if they're useful. They hold 60 songs. They're about 0.8 to 1.2 inches thick. And they sell for, whether you buy them with 256 or you buy them with 128 and you realize you need 256 and you go out and pay more and get that memory card. So that's what this market represents in terms of the ones actively in use. They also have a really bad user interface. They've got a really small display that doesn't tell you much, and they've got this little thumb thing, which I guess if you have 15 songs, it's okay, but if you have any number of songs, it gets ridiculous very quickly. Well, we are going to introduce the second member of the iPod family today to go after these guys. And it's called the iPod Mini. The iPod Mini. So let's see how it stacks up. The iPod Mini, right here, instead of having 256 megabytes, it's got 4,000 megabytes, or 4 gigabytes of storage. Instead of holding 60 songs, it holds 1,000 songs. We think this is what it takes to take your library with you and not have to fret over which 60 songs out of your library are you going to take. It is half the thickness of these other MP3 players, a half an inch thick. and we're going to sell it for $249. And so let's take a look at this. It's got 16 times the storage, it holds 16 times the music, it's half the thickness, and it's $50 more. This is the best $50 you'll ever spend. You get 940 more songs for $50. So the iPod mini, what's it look like? Well, this is the iPod and it's pretty small, but this is the mini. It's even smaller, and it's pretty stunning. You can put up to 10,000 songs on an iPod. You can put 1,000 songs on the mini. And it is quite small. To relate with what it looks like and the size that it is the size of a business card. So if you've got a business card in your pocket, take it out and take a look at it, and that is how large the iPod mini is. And it is a ½ an inch thick. It is really, really beautiful. And when you turn it on, you don't get some cheesy user interface. You get the award-winning iPod user interface, the same user interface. Now, we had a challenge. We had a challenge because we didn't have room for 4 separate buttons on the Mini. And so we came up with something really great. We have the solid-state scroll wheel, right? Patent pending. And we've added buttons right on it. So we've added buttons right on the solid-state scroll wheel. So when you finish scrolling, you just push it, and it just clicks in like this. Isn't that sweet? It's really nice. And it saves space and lets us build this product so small. This is what the top looks like, just like you've come to know and love in your iPod. And the bottom has the same iPod connector on it, which lets us plug in a cable. And the iPod Mini supports both FireWire and USB 2. And a new thing, you can charge the battery from either one. So you can charge the battery off USB 2 if you're using it on a PC. We supply both cables with the iPod Mini, so there's nothing extra to buy, a FireWire and a USB cable. And we also supply a new belt clip with it, which is really nice and works real well. There's 2 accessories for the iPod Mini. Got a dock, and we've got an armband, because this is great for running. So if you take a look at this and compare it with these flash players, 16 times the music, half the thickness, $50 extra. And here's what one looks like right here. This is one. They're really, really beautiful. I don't know if we can get a shot of this from the back, but they're quite nice. They're quite nice, and they are quite small, and you can see the thickness right here. They're really unbelievable. So, what's next? Well, we'd like to go after the remaining mainstream flash market. So we've taken a look at this market, and it's a zoo. There's a zillion little flash players, and the market's incredibly fragmented. Nobody has very much market share. Nobody's investing, marketing, and growing the market. The products are all pretty much the same. So let's just take a look. We pick one of them and take a look. They all have some attributes. First of all, most of them are powered by AAA batteries, which are not rechargeable. So what that means is you're going to feed this thing about $100 worth of batteries a year. Not such a good investment. But let's even forget about the batteries for now. The real key here is that these products are trying to be as easy to use as an iPod, but they've got these very tiny displays and no click wheels. They just got these little buttons, and the result is a real tortured user interface. They're really hard to use. They're hard to find your music. You're sitting there trying to navigate around these things, and it's a lost cause. Well, we don't want to make another one of these. There's plenty of them. We want to make something that's really great if we're going to enter this market. We want to make something that's even easier to use than the existing iPods, because if this is going to be our entry-level product, we want to bring even more people in to the digital music revolution. This is not the way to go. So we noodled on this for a while, and we realized we had to come up with a new, original idea that would make a product that was way better than this, where you didn't have to go through these tortured user interfaces to listen to your music. And then we saw it. It was clear as a bell. Something happened in the iPod market with all of our iPod users last year. They discovered a new way to listen to their music that became the most popular way that iPod users listen to their music. And what is that? Shuffle. With Shuffle, you don't have to find your music. It's shuffled up for you. And we decided to base a flash-based player around Shuffle. And so today, we are introducing the iPod Shuffle. And this is what it looks like. It's unbelievable. And it is so great to use. But let me first show you what it looks like. It's really tiny. Headphones plug in the top. Now, it is smaller than most packs of gum. Okay? There's a lot of packs of gum out there, so I went and got a few. But it's smaller than most packs of gum. It weighs about the same as 4/4. That is under 1 ounce. It weighs less than an ounce. Now, how do you use it? It's so simple. You've got a very simple set of controls here. To play and pause your music, you've got a button. Volume up and down. Very easy. Previous and next song. It couldn't be easier. And you get some great feedback with some LEDs as you go through these things. So you know exactly what's going on. It really works, and it's really simple. And you can shuffle your music, listen to your songs in a million different ways, which has become so popular on iPod. Or by flipping a switch in the back, you can listen to your music start to finish in a playlist. So if you've got a new album you want to listen to, just put that at the top and listen to it as an album. Now, the iPod Shuffle has a cap on the bottom. Pop off the cap, there's a USB connector. USB 2 for fast transfers. And it's got a 12-hour rechargeable battery, so you're not feeding this thing with expensive batteries. And of course, you can plug it in to your PC or your Mac. And there's something else really cool you can do with it. You can turn it upside down, and we supply a lanyard with it, and you can put it right on. Let me show you how that works. This is the new iPod Shuffle. Take off the cap, click it right on. You're set to go. Today, we're going to focus on the iPod Mini. Now, the iPod Mini is what all of our competitors have their sights focused on. Why? Well, it's obvious. Because the iPod Mini is the most popular MP3 player in the world. It's the most popular iPod, and that makes it the most popular MP3 player in the world. So that's the one everybody's focused on. Well, today, we're going to do something pretty bold. Today, we're going to replace it. We're going to replace it with something new. Now, let's go back to the beginning, because we started this all with 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? We started it with the original iPod. And then we carried 1,000 songs in your pocket over to the iPod Mini. Well, now we're going to replace the iPod Mini with a new player, an entirely new ground-up design that also has 1,000 songs in your pocket. And it's called the iPod Nano. The iPod Nano is the biggest revolution since the original iPod. A lot of people have worked so hard on this over the last many, many months. And it is my privilege to show it to you now. 1,000 songs in your pocket, the iPod Nano. So, let's get a camera. I've got a pocket right here. Now, this pocket's been the one that your iPod's gone in, traditionally. The iPod and the iPod Mini fit great in there. You ever wonder what this pocket's for? I've always wondered that. Well, now we know, because this is the new iPod Nano. All right, let's take a closer look at it. This is the new iPod Nano. It is breathtaking. You won't believe it until you hold it in your hands. 1,000 songs. An amazing color display. A click wheel. It is one of the most amazing products Apple has ever created. 1,000 songs in your pocket. Impossibly small. It's really small. Let me show you how small this is. This thing is thinner than a number 2 pencil. Thinner than a number 2 pencil. Now, let's go ahead and compare it to the original iPod. This is the original iPod that also held 1,000 songs in your pocket. Look at that. The iPod Nano is 80% smaller in volume than the original iPod. 80% smaller means it's 20% of the size. It's 1/5 the size of the original iPod that we shipped less than 4 years ago. Okay, let's compare it to the iPod Mini. The iPod Mini, an incredibly successful product. The iPod Nano is half the thickness. It's 62% smaller by volume. That means it's almost 1/3 the size of the iPod Mini. Now let's take a look at some competitors. Some of their flash products here. Here's iRiver. Look at this. 68% smaller. It's 1/3 the size of a competing player that doesn't hold anywhere near the number of songs. Here's another one by a company called Creative. I think it's called their Zen player. Again, 69% smaller, 1/3 the size. Here's another one. I think this is the Zen Neon. 58% smaller, less than half the size. Here's a player from Samsung. Again, less than half the size, 59% smaller. Here's a Sony player. 67% smaller, 1/3 the size. Now let me compare it to something else, which isn't a competitor, which is a really cool product. This is the coolest phone on the market until today, with the iTunes phone, the Motorola Razr phone, right? Look at this, though. 66% smaller, 1/3 the size of the smallest phone on the market. That's how small this is. It's really small size. But it's got really big features. This is a full-featured iPod. So, first thing is, it's got that 30-pin dock connector like the iPod and the iPod Mini, and so it plugs in to the entire universe of iPod accessories. And again, a gorgeous color screen, and music's the most important thing. But we've added some other things beyond just music. We've added photos. So you can have your whole photo library, up to 25,000 photos, and the color screen is pretty nice, very high resolution. And we've added some great things and extras. We have a new clock, which is set to Cupertino when we ship it, but you can put it to any major city in the world. But you can also add as many clocks as you want, and just scroll down and see them. And they go dark when it's nighttime. You can have however many clocks you want. Of course, we have games. We have beautiful calendars. We have some new things, too. We have a lap timer, a stopwatch and a lap timer, so you can do some really nice lap times, several of them. And we have a screen lock. If you're going to have your contacts and calendars on, you might want to lock your screen when you, and you can do that. And the way you do it is you set it with the click wheel. You turn the click wheel, it turns the dial, you set the lock. Now, some people are going to forget anything, so they're going to forget their combination. When you take your iPod Nano back and you dock it with the computer that it's synced to, it automatically opens the lock. So you're not going to be stranded. So these are just a few of the features of the new iPod Nano, a full-featured iPod. And yet all of this weighs 1.5 ounces, 42 grams. That is less than 8 quarters in your pocket. It's got USB 2 for really fast transfers, and it's got a 14-hour rechargeable battery. all in this tiny, tiny little package. Of course, it works on PCs and Macs. And there's one other thing. You know, white is our signature color for the iPod. They've been white since the very beginning, and of course, the iPod Nano's signature color is white as well. But we decided to do a second color because we tried it and it looked so cool. And so we're going to be offering the iPod Nano in black as well. White and a black model. So, 2 models, 2 colors. iPod Nano. The first model, 4 gigabytes of storage, holds 1,000 songs, priced at $249, the same price that we launched the iPod Mini at last year. Second model, 2 gigabytes, holds 500 songs for just $199. These are amazing, amazing prices for these features. And they are shipping today. We are shipping units as we sit here right now. They will be in stores in many parts of the world by this weekend. They will be in some stores as early as tomorrow afternoon or Friday. And this is what you look for. This is the shipping boxes. They are shipping out as we speak today. We're not done yet. Far from it. You know, when we introduced the iPhone in January, we said it was the best iPod ever. And iPhone owners agree with us. It's incredible with its multi-touch user interface, its incredible album artwork and video. It is the best iPod ever. And people have been asking us and wondering, when are we going to bring this technology to an iPod? Well, the answer to that question is we're going to do it today, and this is what the product looks like. It's called the iPod Touch. I happen to have one right here. It's just about the same size screen as the iPhone, but it's even thinner. It's 8 millimeters thin. It's unbelievable. The new iPod Touch. We think it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's just incredible. It features our revolutionary multi-touch interface that you've come to know and love on the iPhone. When I showed you the side view of the iPod Touch, I was keeping a secret. I showed you the clean side. Let me show you the other side. You see there's something in that upper corner. It's an antenna, because we've built in Wi-Fi to the new iPod Touch. And 802.11b and G for really fast Wi-Fi. Now, some others have done this, and it's failed. And we took a long look at this and think we understand why it failed, and think we know what to do to make it successful, where others have failed before us. The battery life is also fantastic. 22 hours of audio playback and 5 hours of video playback. All in something this thin. It's amazing to me. So, the new iPod Touch. Multi-touch user interface, 3.5-inch widescreen display, delivers stunning video and photos, fantastic way to browse your music library with cover flow, find music that you haven't listened to in a while that you still love. It's great. And Wi-Fi with Safari and YouTube and Google and Yahoo search. There's something cool to do with Wi-Fi now, so let's go ahead and build it in. All in an incredibly thin form factor, just 8 millimeters thin. So, we're going to offer the iPod Touch in 2 configurations. The first is 8 gigabytes of storage. The second is 16 gigabytes of storage. Again, how do you fit all this in here? It's amazing. So, 8 gigabytes. The price for the new iPod Touch with 8 gigabytes of storage, $299. The price with 16 gigabytes of storage, $399. And we're shipping these. Both models will be available in just a few weeks. We're shipping them this month. Plenty of time for the holiday season. So we're very, very excited about the new iPod Touch.